You ever wonder how your phone unlocks just by looking at your face? Or how your favorite streaming service just knows what movie you want to watch next? Well, the secret sauce behind all of that, it's not magic, it's machine learning. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how it's literally changing everything. So, to really get what machine learning is, you first have to know how computers usually work. Think about traditional programming like a super detailed recipe. A developer writes out every single step, right? If this happens, then you do that. But machine learning, it throws that whole idea out the window. Instead of a recipe, we give the computer a massive cookbook, just tons and tons of data, and it figures out the patterns all on its own. All right, so let's dig into that. What does it actually mean for a machine to learn without being given explicit instructions? To put it simply, machine learning is a part of AI, where a system learns directly from data. It's not about being programmed line by line. It's about spotting patterns, making predictions, and here's the most important part. It actually gets smarter over time. It's less like a calculator that just knows how to do one thing, and a lot more like a student who learns from every single example they see. Okay, so if a machine can learn, how does it do it? Well, it turns out there are three main ways. Think of them as the basic tools you'd find in any machine learning toolbox. So you've got three main flavors: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. They're all different based on the kind of data they use and, how they actually learn. Let's break each one down with a quick analogy to make it super clear. First up, we've got supervised learning. The easiest way to think about this is like learning with a teacher, or maybe studying with flashcards that already have the answers on the back. You give the machine tons of labeled data, like thousands of pictures already marked cat or dog, and it learns to tell the difference by studying all those correct examples. But what happens if there are no labels? Well, that's where unsupervised learning comes in. Imagine getting dropped into a massive, messy library with no catalog system at all. You'd have to start grouping books together just based on similarities you find. That's exactly what the machine does here. It dives into a chaotic pile of data and finds the hidden structures all by itself. And finally, there's reinforcement learning. This one is all about trial and error. Seriously, think of it just like training a puppy. The system tries something, and if it's a good move, it gets a reward. If it's a bad move, it gets a penalty. After doing this millions of times, it eventually figures out the best way to get the most treats. Okay, so that's the theory, but where do you actually see this stuff? The short answer? Pretty much everywhere. Let's talk about how machine learning is already a huge part of your daily life. And here's the thing you've got to remember. Machine learning isn't some sci-fi concept from the future. It's the engine that's running right now, taking all the raw data that's swirling around us and turning it into really useful insights that we rely on every single day. I mean, just think about it for a second. In healthcare, it's helping doctors analyze medical scans to find diseases way earlier than a human eye ever could. In finance, it's that invisible security guard watching your credit card, spotting fraud in a split second. And yeah, every single time you get a movie or a song recommendation, you guessed it, that's machine learning too. So this is clearly some powerful stuff, which brings up a good question. What does it actually take to build these kinds of systems? Let's take a look at the skills you'd need to jump into the world of ML. First things first, you've got to have a solid technical foundation. There's no getting around it. We're talking about the language of math and stats, programming chops, especially in Python, and a really good handle on how data is structured. This is the bedrock, the foundation for everything else. But here's the thing. Just being a wizard with code and numbers, that's only half the battle. As one expert put it perfectly, technical knowledge alone isn't enough. And this is where the human element becomes absolutely crucial. You need critical thinking to even know what questions to ask in the first place. You need serious problem-solving skills for when things inevitably break. And more than anything, you need curiosity, a genuine desire to experiment, to analyze, and to discover what the data is trying to tell you. So we've talked about the here and now, but what about the future? Where is all of this going? What kind of technology is being built for tomorrow? Well, this explosive growth is really being fueled by two major things. First, we are creating an unbelievable amount of data every single day. And second, our computers are just getting insanely powerful. So when you mix more data with more power, well, you get much smarter, much more capable models. So what's actually on the horizon? Well, we're tackling some huge challenges. Things like explainable AI, which is all about making sure we can actually understand why an AI makes the decisions it does. Then there's building ethical algorithms to ensure fairness. We're also seeing more and more autonomous systems and, of course, a relentless push to make every model more accurate and more capable than the last. Look, at the end of the day, the big takeaway is simple. If you're involved in building the future of technology in any capacity, understanding machine learning isn't just a nice-to-have skill anymore, it is absolutely essential. So yeah, machine learning is here. It's an incredibly powerful tool that we're using to build our future right now. The only real question left is the one we all have to answer together. What kind of future are we going to build with it?